every twist and turn has an impact. Just like us after a long hike, our babies might end up with some kinks in their muscles. And some babies are left with a lot of tightness, tension, cranial molding, and compression, which can lead to difficulties like a weak suck, difficulty swallowing, constipation, digestive difficulties, reflux, gas, flathead syndrome such as plagiocephaly or brachycephaly, and overall fussiness due to pain and discomfort, just to name a few. Welcome to Mothering from Within, the podcast where we dive into the heart of parenting during those magical yet challenging first few years. I'm Kaili, a mama of two, a pediatric occupational therapist, and your guide on this beautiful journey of motherhood. Every week, we explore the wonders and hurdles of motherhood with curiosity, we gain clarity around our babies, and find the courage to trust our instincts. If you are a mama who wants to do motherhood your way, confidently, courageously, authentically, then you are in the right place. So grab a cup of tea, tuck those little ones in for a nap, or bring them along for the ride. It's time to get curious, gain clarity, and unleash your courage to do motherhood your way. A gentle disclaimer, please do not consider anything discussed on this podcast by myself or any guest of the podcast to be medical advice. The information is provided for educational purposes only and does not take the place of your own medical or healthcare provider. In today's episode, I want to talk about birth, and specifically birth from our baby's perspective. I'll chat a bit about how our babies are really quite immature when they're born, which is why they need to be held close for the 4th trimester and beyond, but also how their birth story can impact their daily functioning, from feeding to pooping to sleeping and everything in between. A baby's birth history can tell us a lot about what might be going on for them. So let's dive in. Okay, so birth, big topic, right? We often share our birth stories, the hours of labor, the moments of doubt, the final push. But what about our babies? Let's walk through their side of the story. Babies do all sorts of funny things while they are growing in utero, and sometimes they can become twisted in suboptimal positioning, stuck in a specific place, like under your ribs, ouch, or squished due to lack of space, which is often the case with multiples and conditions like low amniotic fluid. Then comes the day that contractions and labor start. The first stage of labor is usually the longest, and this is a time of powerful contractions as mama works to help her baby navigate down the birth canal. For the baby, this is a time of pressure and movement as they are gently, or sometimes not so gently, squeezed and nudged. Imagine for a moment their world, the only one they've known, is becoming smaller, urging them towards light they've never seen. The passage through the birth canal is tight. It's intense. And for babies, this is their first experience of real discomfort, a pressure that's unlike anything we can remember as adults. Their little bodies are designed to adapt and mold, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It's really their first test of resilience. When our labor starts, our babies start what are called cardinal movements. And actually, human beings are the only mammals who must rotate their heads to squeeze through the birth canal and also kind of twist their bodies to get through. It sounds fancy, but really, it's a series of twists and turns and dips and wiggles to maneuver through the birth canal. And there are 7 very specific twists and turns, which are the cardinal movements, that babies have to go through in order to get through mom's pelvis and the tight birth canal. And sometimes things get a bit tricky. Babies might find themselves stuck and not able to move forward, or they haven't twisted and turned in the correct way. They may even pause to take a break. Sometimes things like a hand by their face or the cord wrapped around their neck, or contractions that are stronger than expected, such as those that happen with augmentation by Pitocin can make this travel through the birth canal harder. They may get stuck on the way out and need assistance from forceps, vacuum, manual turning with hands, or even a C-section. And all the twisting, rotating, stuckness, and even the various birth interventions can lead to straining and tightening of the fascia, which is a thin but strong layer that lies on top, which is superficial, to the muscles, and it protects our entire body, from the muscles to all the nerves and organs below them. We are connected from the tip of our tongue down through our body to the tip of our toes with this fascial connective kind of network. And this fascia is really good at its job of protecting and will tighten quite easily, but it's not so great at releasing. And when the fascia is tight, it pulls on everything below, and it can cause things like tightness in the tongue, which might look like a tongue tie, poor latch. It can cause things like tightness in the neck, which can show up as torticollis, and really tightness in any muscle of the body. So tightness of muscles can then pull bones out of alignment and compress nerves, which can then lead to other complications like pain and stiffness and discomfort and so much more. During birth, there's also a certain amount of molding of the cranial bones as they move over top of each other to really make your baby's head capable of fitting through the narrow birth canal. And while this molding is very normal and often resolves on its own, sometimes it doesn't. As you can see, every twist and turn has an impact. Just like us after a long hike, our babies might end up with some kinks in their muscles. Now, through all this, our babies are pretty amazing. They're designed to make this journey, to adapt, and to recover. But just because it's natural doesn't mean it's easy. And some babies are left with a lot of tightness, tension, cranial molding, and compression, which can lead to difficulties like a weak suck, difficulty swallowing, constipation, digestive difficulties, reflux, gas, flathead syndrome such as plagiocephaly or brachycephaly, and overall fussiness due to pain and discomfort, just to name a few. Now, once babies are finished with all that turning and twisting through the birth canal, they've got to realign to come out and greet the world in what is known as the expulsion or delivery. That's a big workout for them. I think we can all agree that babies are working just as hard as us mamas during labor and delivery. And just when they think their journey is ending once they're born, bam, they land smack in the middle of the chaos of life outside the womb. All of a sudden, that warm, soothing, hug-like environment is gone, and they're bombarded with sensations, cold air on their skin, air instead of liquid in their lungs, bright lights above them, sounds that are no longer muffled but loud and happening all at once. They feel their bodies touched and pulled by strong, rough, or maybe soft hands. Their senses are on high alert and their survival instincts kick in. Where is my safe person, they wonder? That person whose smell, heartbeat, and voice are familiar. Everything is new, and now is when the hard work really begins. Babies must now work with gravity, and it's difficult to move. They no longer have a steady stream of nutrition coming in, so they have to find the food source and learn to suck and swallow. Sometimes that comes easily, and sometimes it takes a lot of effort. It's tiring. They're exhausted from the journey. Everything is unfamiliar, and they're not quite sure what to make of it all. All they want is to be back in their happy place, next to you. Perhaps they want to sleep, but they can't because they're being poked and prodded. Perhaps they're being suctioned or pricked, wrapped in stiff fabric, or even separated from the one thing, the one person they know. What a transition that is. Are you worried your baby has some body tightness or tension? Grab my free Baby Body Bliss guide to assess your baby at home and get started with some simple tips on how to help release that tension. You'll find the link to this guide in the show notes below. This is why in those first few months, often called the fourth trimester, or even the first 6 to 9 months, your baby's favorite place is next to you. Your smell, the heat of your body, your heartbeat, your breath rate, and even all the gurgling sounds your body makes are what help your baby feel as if everything is right in the world. Being close to you helps them regulate their body temperature, their heart and breath rates, and it helps them feel a sense of safety and security. Your baby being happiest next to you is normal and exactly what they and you need. So I encourage you to embrace it. No, you aren't creating any bad habits or causing them to be dependent on you forever. What you're doing is nurturing your baby's brain, supporting their development and well-being, and laying the foundation for a strong, secure attachment with you. I know that it can be hard to hold your baby all the time. You worry that they'll become too dependent on you, and sometimes you just want time to yourself. This is normal. Perhaps you can wear your baby while you read to your toddler or make yourself a meal. Maybe your baby can do some tummy time on the floor while you fold laundry next to them. Or maybe you can hand off your baby to another loving caregiver while you have a nap or a shower or just some time for you. As the saying goes, the days are long, but the years are short. There will be a day in the not so far future that your child won't want to be constantly attached to you. And then will come the day when they head off to school and eventually they'll move out. So enjoy the snuggles, Mama, but don't forget to take care of you. As a pediatric occupational therapist and infant craniosacral therapist, I've seen the effects of birth on babies. They may be subtle, but they're there. Tightness in the body, a need for soothing beyond what's typical, even challenges with feeding and settling. It's really a reminder that birth is something they undergo, not just something that happens around them. The beautiful thing is that with the appropriate body work, whether it's craniosacral therapy, osteopathy, or chiropractic care, much of this body tightness and compression can be resolved. In particular, I love craniosacral therapy as it can help release fascial tension and gently move the cranial bones back into place while relieving the compression of the cranial nerves. And this makes more space within the cranium or the head and ultimately helps to restore the flow of the fluid and the body's internal sort of rhythm within the nervous system. I remember back when I was living in New York City with my first baby, my son Christian, when he was born, and I had recently become interested in various alternative and complementary therapies. I'd gone to acupuncture for the first time while my husband and I were trying to conceive. And then I kept going throughout my pregnancy. And I was doing all sorts of things like yoga and meditating, and I had started to explore the magical world of energy healing as well. Well, when my son was born via C-section, I knew from my years of experience as a pediatric occupational therapist that he'd missed out on a lot of sensory input and stimulation of primitive reflexes, and that this might actually lead to various issues in his development and later in life potentially. So I asked a mentor for some recommendations, and she mentioned craniosacral therapy. That first session in our tiny New York City apartment bedroom was the start of my love affair with craniosacral therapy and also osteopathy. I knew it was magical, even though my son cried for almost the entire treatment, which I was told was normal as he sort of relived his birth experience and the shock of being born. Since then, I've regularly been taking both of my children to an osteopath who primarily treats children with craniosacral therapy. And it has really changed my life and my career trajectory. And now I'm a certified infant craniosacral therapist in addition to my occupational therapy. I truly believe that every single baby and mama should get at least 1 to 3 craniosacral therapy treatments or some other type of bodywork done after birth. The ideal time is within the first few days and weeks, but it's really never too late. I recommend bodywork to every single family I work with, whether we're addressing sleep or reflux or even sensory processing differences, because it really is the foundation. I truly believe in the magic of this healing touch. So consider this your invitation to seek out some bodywork for your baby and yourself, especially if you're dealing with things like fussiness, feeding issues, reflux, constipation, difficulty with tummy time, sleep, and the list goes on. As we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to send some love to our babies for the journey they've been on. I hope this chat gave you a new perspective on your baby and the wild ride they've just been on. Just like us, they need time to rest, to heal, and to be understood after such a big experience. Remember that there are gentle therapies and lots of cuddles that can do wonders. Have you ever wished for a magic wand that could grant you clarity on what is actually biologically normal and developmentally appropriate for babies at each stage? If you want to find the root cause of your baby's difficulties or discomfort, and you want strategies to help your baby grow and thrive that honor their unique rhythm, then the Holistic Baby Bundle is your roadmap to achieving just that. This bundle of all my courses and ebooks will give you all the tools, guidance, and heartfelt support you need in one snug package. From mastering milestones to easing sleep time, from understanding reflux to navigating oral ties and embracing weaning with love. This bundle is crafted with you and your baby's journey in mind. As a pediatric occupational therapist, I've poured my professional expertise and personal passion into these resources to ensure they're not just informative, but transformative. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more. Until next time, keep listening to your heart, trust in your journey, and cherish the wonder moments with your little ones. This is Kaili, your holistic baby guru, sending you and your babies all the love and peaceful vibes. Sweet dreams, and see you in the next episode.